Hello, how to get out of debt. This is some advice on how to get out of debt and also how to grow your finances, assuming you don't have rich parents. This is going to help you. My friends and family say Nigel is careful with his money, but if you follow a few simple rules, you can make a huge difference to your lifestyle and stop paying interest fees to the banks and institutions. Hello friends, my name is Nigel. Do hope you can subscribe and like, and please leave any comments down below. Okay, number one, every day look at your bank account and credit card debt and record it down so on a daily, weekly, monthly, you can see if your debt has gone down or up. Your goal is to see your debt reduced until you are in credit and you are debt free. If you make it competitive with a graph, turn it into a game, that could change your life. When you're out of debt, the same graph principle will help you save money, watching the graph rise and not fall. Now, I've seen other channels telling you to pay the smallest debt first, not the highest percentage. But I would say that unless the percentage is very small, let's say under 1% difference, I would always pay the highest interest rate first. And don't forget that missing the due date of payment is very expensive and you will be charged by the banks.
These are terrible.
Now, if you don't have credit card debt, pay the balance every month. And using your bank app, pay on the date a couple of days before the payment date is due, just in case. And you can do this weeks before, making sure not to miss the date. If you clear your credit card balance, there's no need to pay weeks before it's due, as it doesn't cost you unless you don't pay it in full. So number two, the goal is to pay off your credit card every month, as the bank's interest rates are around 25%. And although this is mostly about debt management, the overall goal is to buy a property of your own, but first you need to clear your debts and stop paying rent. If you do have a mortgage on your own property, congratulations, you're halfway there. And there are lots of information here for you. I watched a finance advice guru with almost 1 million views and 2.9 million followers who was renting a property with half a dozen other people. And I thought, you're giving financial advice and you don't own your own property, and he employs editors. He has a very, very successful video channel, so doesn't need to live in an expensive area. He could live anywhere and could afford to buy his own property and get on the property ladder. I live on a remote Scottish island where people are lovely, the scenery amazing, there's no pollution, and I bought the property 10 times less expensive, but 10 times better than Cornwall, where I used to live. I lived there for over 40 years, Cornwall, moving from London, where I couldn't afford a property to buy. And then Cornwall was a fraction of the price it is now. Now it's much too expensive for most first-time buyers, unless you move to some of the central areas like Campbell, Redruth and Bodmin. This video was inspired by people who said I was lucky charging my Tesla at home, as if it was a random lucky act, as I grew up on a council estate, lived in a prefab and went to a state school, only getting CSEs, no GCEs, and leaving at 16, a year after I could have left. I didn't go to a private school where job applications and getting the job is based on the school you went to and not your ability. I worked Saturdays in the supermarket when I was still at school, and I even delivered groceries on one of those old-fashioned grocery bikes. Leaving school, I was a senior aircraftsman in the Motor Transport Squadron in the RAF before going into retail and working my way up the ladder. I worked for a wholesaler showing retailers the best way to manage their business, including financial controls, as many were struggling. I was able to help them become more profitable, as well as the wholesaler that I worked for become more successful. And I've applied many of these things from my life to get the most out of money and not be in debt. I retired in my 40s, and this will help you firstly get out of debt and secondly grow your income. Okay, seems obvious. Number 3, never get a payday loan. The interest is ridiculously high. All you are doing is transferring your debt that might be higher and take longer to pay off. Also, consolidate your debt adverts are best to avoid. Number 4, only buy what you can and pay off your credit card monthly, excluding washing machines, essentials, etc. The things that if you don't have will cost you time and money in the laundrette, etc., etc. It's easy to say the next one, but stop paying rent and buy a property even if you have to move to a cheaper area if necessary, and change jobs if you can. If you have a YouTube channel or would like to start one, then there's really no excuse. You can operate a YouTube channel anywhere, and I'm proof of it. Mr. Beast doesn't operate from New York or California or in an expensive state. He's based in North Carolina, which is midway in the richest states list. In my 20s, I had many arguments with people who told me, don't buy, just rent. But I could see for myself the big percentage increases in the housing market and sometimes wondered if I would ever own my own home. I'm glad I did buy, as the renters years later have a lifestyle I don't envy, and their sons and grandchildren are the ones now telling me not to buy an electric car. And I know they are wrong, as were their fathers and grandfathers. They're also telling me I'm lucky because I can charge at home in my drive. Well, I've done a lot of things in my life to help me achieve this. I hope to do more of this sort of video. It's one that does fascinate me, and I think I've got a lot of advice that may be helpful to you. And some of the advice I see on YouTube, I don't think is very helpful. But I hope this was. If you can subscribe and like, that would be fantastic. Please leave any constructive comments below. Thanks very much for watching. See you next time. And don't forget your reusable coffee mug wherever you go. Bye for now. There's a lot more to this subject. I've only covered a little bit of it today. So I hope you can join me again if you subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. And if this one is successful, I'll be doing a lot more. And I've listed at least 25 things you can do to get out of debt and to see your savings grow, and really only covered about 5 of them today. So there's a lot more on this subject. So thanks very much, and thanks for watching, and see you next time. Bye.